A mother visits her daughter at the morgue to say goodbye, and makes the most incredible discovery. What she discovered shocked the whole world. Sandra from Argentina had already given birth to 4 children when she became pregnant with the 5th. It was supposed to be a girl, and Sandra and her partner Martin hoped that this pregnancy would go well. But unfortunately, at the 26th week of pregnancy, she went into labor. Therefore, she urgently went to a hospital in northeastern Argentina. It was too early for the baby to be born, but it was happening. Little Amelia was born on April 8, 2017, almost 3 months before her due date. She was tiny, weighed only 1.5 kilograms, and the worst part was that she didn't seem to be breathing or showing signs of life. Doctors tried to resuscitate her and called a neonatologist, but he also could not find any signs of life in the baby. Amelia was stillborn, and they officially announced it and issued a death certificate. Her fragile little body was wrapped in cloth and placed in a small wooden coffin. Sandra was under anesthesia during childbirth, and she had to talk about what happened when she woke up. The woman was completely heartbroken and could not believe that she had lost her daughter. Everything happened very quickly. She felt a strong desire to see her little daughter, make sure that she was really not alive, and take a picture of her for the funeral service. She told her husband what she wanted and convinced him and her brother to take her to the hospital morgue. Together they got the doctor's permission to do this. More than 12 hours have passed since Amelia's birth. As they walked down to the morgue, Sandra mentally prepared for this moment. She was still weak after giving birth. Can you imagine how she felt? No parent should have to experience the emotions of losing a child. Sandra and her partner Martin found Amelia's small coffin in the morgue. As Sandra bent over the box, she looked at her baby's tiny body and touched her hand. Then Sandra pushed the cloth away from Amelia's face a little. And then the unthinkable happened. The woman suddenly heard a soft crying and saw her daughter's big shiny eyes looking at her. Shocked, she jumped back and said to herself, "It's my imagination." Amelia woke up in front of their eyes, as if saying, "Mom, I knew you'd come for me." Everyone was stunned. How could this be possible? While Sandra and her husband were paralyzed by what they saw, Sandra's brother reacted immediately. He grabbed the girl and ran to carry her to the newborn ward. After the astonished doctors confirmed that the child was alive, Amelia was placed in the intensive care unit. It was necessary to warm her small body, provide oxygen and nutrition, and perform tests to find out if her stay in the morgue refrigerator had harmed her. And along with all this, it was necessary to answer the main question, namely, how could this happen? While Amelia was undergoing treatment, her parents were trying to come to terms with this emotional event. They thought they had lost their daughter, but gradually began to realize that she was alive. "I can't explain what happened," her father Martin said, "it's just that God created a miracle." The doctors were also unable to explain what happened. An investigation has been launched at the hospital to find out if anyone can be blamed for this terrible mistake. "The personnel involved are responsible and therefore must be held accountable," said Juan Rodriguez, Deputy Minister of Health of the Chaco region. Meanwhile, Amelia's condition stabilized in the intensive care unit, and it was soon decided that she would be taken to a hospital in Buenos Aires, where there is a special non-anthology department with the most modern equipment. A couple of days later, everyone was seized with a new fright when Amelia stopped breathing. Her heart stopped due to a hemorrhage in her lungs, and complex cardiopulmonary resuscitation was required. This episode caused irreparable damage to the girl's brain ability, and her parents were told that only 10% of her brain was still functioning. Amelia spent the next 8 weeks in a hospital in Buenos Aires. She was getting stronger every day and gradually gaining weight. Soon she was able to drink her mother's breast milk, which is always a good sign. Unfortunately, her father, Martin, could not withstand all this pressure and left Sandra and her children alone. Now Sandra had to do everything by herself. Finally, after so many months of fear and excitement since her tumultuous birth, Emilia was strong enough to return home to her mother. Sandra was with her daughter all the time and felt like she had a real miracle in her arms when she took her daughter home. However, she was still in danger, and over the next 15 months she would develop several health complications. She also had developmental problems, and it was clear that the fact that she was born 3 months prematurely, spent 12 long hours in the cold and suffered a cardiac arrest did not leave her small body unscathed. Sandra surrounded her little girl with all possible care and love, although it was hard for her, and she was far from a rich woman. After several subsequent tests, it turned out that Emilia suffers from microcephaly, in which her head and brain do not develop properly, which can only be cured with stem cell transplantation. It is a very difficult and also very expensive treatment. Sandra did not have the money for this, but she thought that maybe she could take the child to China to undergo treatment there. She started a fundraising campaign despite doctors telling her that Emilia would not be strong enough for the trip. And at the end of June, she went into cardiac arrest again, and Sandra took her to the hospital again. The girl was connected to an artificial respiration machine, but remained in critical condition for several hours, and cardiopulmonary resuscitation did not help anymore. Her little heart gave up, and the girl died. It was heartbreaking. I can't imagine how Sandra felt after losing her daughter for the second time, and this time forever. Sharing her loss with the world, Sandra wrote an incredibly touching public farewell letter. She wrote, "Today, my love, we are not saying goodbye, because one day we will see each other again." She wrote that she feels grateful for every minute they spent together. "God gave me birth at this time, and I can assure you that the past year, 3 months and 15 days with her have made me the happiest woman on this planet." She told everyone that she was sure that Emilia had a mission on this earth. One day a guy came up to her and said that he wanted to commit suicide, but as soon as he saw Emilia struggling, he thought, why can't he do it too? I have goosebumps, and I wish Sandra and her family a lot of strength during these very difficult times. Dear viewers, if you liked this video, then like and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye.